What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's QahirTheConqueror. Hope your day is going well. In this video, we're going to learn and talk about the process of loving yourself. Now, for starters, this is something that's not for the weak. It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. It's very difficult. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes pain, suffering, things like that. And also, it is not a finite journey. It has no endpoint, or it shouldn't. It should be a process that continues on and on and on and on and on. I want to explain how to love yourself, why it's important to love yourself, and what or things can happen when we don't love ourselves. First, I want to explain why it is important to love yourself. It's important, number one, because as human beings, as we see in society from a young age to an older age and everything in between, we are impressionable. We're easily influenced. We can be manipulated very easily, whether you want to agree or disagree. The things that people will do to go along, to get along, for validation, for status, for clout, for money, for fame, notoriety, is ridiculous, especially in this day and age. We have social media. We have virality. You can go viral for doing the stupidest things, making a fool of yourself, shaming somebody, canceling somebody for anything, for dancing. People want that recognition, that validation. And that is okay, because I am no expert in this field, but I'm sure it gives us some sort of dopamine boost, serotonin production, something, and that's good. But obviously it can have its pitfalls. Why should we love ourselves? Because, number one, if you don't love yourself, who will? I have heard and seen, and I fully believe this to a degree, for the most part, the people that are going to love you unconditionally likely are going to be parents or a parent, maybe grandparents or a grandparent, and hopefully siblings, maybe a romantic partner. But those aren't the topics of the video, so I won't go too far into those details. But a parent is going to be the most likely out of those to love you unconditionally. The grandparent right after that, because that's parent number two, if you're blessed to have them. And outside of those lines, it can be blurred. So the reason I brought that up, with that being said, since we're so limited to truly those who are going to love us unconditionally, for the most part, what is a parent or a grandparent going to want from you except for you to have the best life you can, because they provided it for you? When we think of friends, romantic partners, co-workers, business partners, these people may very well love us. And some of these people have the heart and the capacity to love us unconditionally. But that's rare, because in these relationships, there's something to gain from it. So although you can reach a bond with people, that love becomes unconditional, and there is nothing that is more important to gain, that if compromise could sabotage the quality of that relationship. But in many cases, let's think, for instance, a friend is going to love you once you develop love, but let's say you tell them no one time. The difference between you telling a parent no and a friend no, let's say that friend was only with you because you have rich parents. So you have that credit card. You can swipe. Every time you're with them, they get introduced to the nice lifestyle just because they're your friend. And they might really love and like you and enjoy your presence, your company, your family, things like that. You say no one time, and you can invoke a vicious spirit in them that might have been suppressed because every other time it was yes. You say no, and then things can go downhill from there. You tell a parent no, they might scold you or punish you, but they're still going to have parental love for you, hopefully, because you came from them. And the love is different. Similar to a grandparent, etc. A business partner, they might love you, but people who know business is war. So you know where that can go. A romantic partner, yeah, they may love you, but love is an emotion and love can fade. So when the love fades, what do you have to maintain the bond? Now, I brought all of that up to say for the first point is that it's important to love yourself because, number one, you have to understand you came into this world alone, unless you have twins or triplets or quadruplets or whatever's after that. Rare, again. And you're going to leave alone. We know that for sure. And you shouldn't rely on other people solely as a source of your love and affection. You should be able to do that for yourself. How to love yourself? That is a good question. And it's a process. And it is not an easy process. Very, very, very trying, painful. It can drive you crazy, but it's so worth it. And how to love yourself, the first thing is, number one, to realize the first point, why it's important to love yourself. I seen and heard, and I believe that you can't even truly love someone else, for the most part, if you don't even love yourself. I don't even think you can really be loved if you don't love yourself. Because think about the things people do when they don't, and I'll explain that a little later. How to love yourself is to start trying to. What does that mean, Qahir? What are we talking about, Q? How to love yourself is to realize that you're a human being. You need love. You need appreciation. You need consideration, patience, empathy. That can come from you before it comes from anything or anyone else. How to love yourself is to try to love yourself. It's to start the process of loving yourself. To go to point 3, and then I'll come back. When we don't love ourselves, some of the things we do for the thrill and the high, that feeling of love, that feel good hormone, emotion, what it'll make us do. People will settle for some disgusting and terrible situations and stay in circumstances that are irreparable sometimes and damaging to themselves. A woman that wants to be loved, that's trying to find love, chasing love, will give away what's so valuable for nothing. just for the hope of love. People will harm themselves mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially for that love. I don't even want you to just think about love in the romantic sense. That's child's play. We can talk about that in another video. Although I'm talking about many aspects of love, including that. But platonic love, familial love, it is so important. Let's just briefly think about a child that grows up in a household full of love, appreciation, consideration, patience, the things I just mentioned. Now let's think about a child who grew up in a household where love was almost non-existent, no affection, no appreciation, no patience. Think about the differences in their mental condition. Think about their perception of reality. Think about the paths that they can go down. Although same background, different background, we are our own decision makers once we get to a certain point. But the foundation can dictate the endpoint in some cases. Those two children can have a completely different perception of reality based on the differences in the two lives that they had. Loving yourself is so important because once you start the process, because we're human beings, we're going to make mistakes. We're all flawed beings. You will become disgusted by some of the things you put up with. Let's just be real. When we were young, middle school, elementary school, we do some embarrassing things. For what? What did I just explain? For, I don't want to say fame, but for status, position, clout, appreciation, things like that. You will embarrass yourself just for the validation of others. When you start the process of purging, when you start setting boundaries, respecting yourself, that is loving yourself because you are now being considerate towards you. You know what you will and will not tolerate. I'm not okay with that. Why am I not okay with that? Because I have respect for myself, because I love myself too much to put up with this, that, and the third. The difference between a person who is trying or who knows how or who loves himself and the difference between a person who doesn't even want to start or doesn't know how, and the things that they might accept from anybody, from a friend, from a family member, from a loved one, a romantic partner. We will settle for things that we know we're not okay with. And that is not good. That can turn you bitter. It can make you cold, angry, make you do things that are not even of your character. When you love yourself, you wouldn't even put yourself in certain situations, or you wouldn't put somebody you love in certain situations. If you love your wife and children, if you have a family, or if you love your husband and children, whatever side you fit on that spectrum, would you take them to a strip club in a dangerous area at midnight or something? No, because it's a silly example, but you love them too much to even want to put them in a situation that may jeopardize their safety. If you love your partner truly, would you entertain advances from somebody else and compromise the basis of your relationship for a temporary moment? No, you wouldn't. If you loved your children, would you have them be exposed and witness to degrading and depraving behavior? No, you wouldn't. That is why Loving yourself, ourselves, is so important, because when you love yourself to the degree of wanting the best for yourself, what person wouldn't then want to transfer that love to those around them that they care for and appreciate? That is why it is so important to love yourself, or to start if you haven't, or to try, because you can't even love somebody else. You can't appreciate the love somebody else is willing to give you, offer you, because you don't even know what it feels like. And whatever your beginning was, whatever your middle point is, if you're seeing this video and you're like me, you can start today trying to love yourself better, trying to be better for yourself, so that way tomorrow and the future you will be a better host to receive love or to give love. Love is very important. And I don't mean just emotion and that temporary feel-good feeling. It's deeper than that. I was taught and told and heard and believed love is duty. Love is sacrifice. Let's think about a parent when they make the decision to create a child and to bring that child into the world. They have to hear them crying and screaming, change filthy diapers, feed them every day for years, spend hard-earned money, lose sleep, get sick. So imagine wanting to do that and you gain nothing from it for the most part. There is no money that the child just, here you go, I'm 5, here's $700,000. Does that happen? No, it's not realistic. So that love that a parent has for their child and things like that is so beautiful. It's so deep. It's so much more deep than what we think. I love her, I love him, we're together forever. It doesn't work like that. The thinking of that is what has, I feel like, decimated the state of relationships and dynamics, because we think of love in a comical way, in a cute way, in an aesthetic kind of way. It's bigger than that. True love is duty, sacrifice, consideration, passion, things like that. And if you know deep down within you haven't been loving yourself, why not start now? If you aren't even capable of loving yourself, and nobody wants to be lonely, how do you expect to find harmony and companionship if you're not capable of doing for yourself what you want for somebody else to do to you? To summarize this video, I hope this helped in any way, shape, or form. Loving yourself is so important. And the process, although not easy, it will bring up scars from the past. It'll make you uncomfortable at times. Setting boundaries and things like that is hard. It's very difficult, but very necessary. You will transcend, and you will be able to give and receive love better than people who haven't. So what are you waiting for? Start now. If you like this video, please leave a like, drop a comment, or subscribe. Thank you. See you for the next video.